What is the greatest comeback to an insult you've ever heard? My best friend. After an argument with some kid from our school in a shop, we began walking away down the street. Kid, where you going, pussy? Friend, your mom's house. Kid, my mom lives the other way, idiot. Friend, no, I meant your real mom. Air traffic control doing a poor job of vectoring an Airbus A330 in for landing. Pilot, you've left us too high. I don't think we can make the approach. Apostrophe. ATC, you've got speed brakes on that thing. Don't you? Apostrophe. Pilot, after a noticeable pause. Yes. But those are for my mistakes, not yours. Apostrophe. A friend in high school on our way to a track meet. He was staring at a car in the parking. That was really nice. When this bag saw him. Bag, why bothering looking at that when you know you'll never be able to get one? My friend, the same reason you watch porn. The entire bus erupted, and it's still one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Game over, man. Game over. A dude in my class called out a semi-friend of mine that people are talking behind his back. In fact, that wasn't the case, as far as I know. And that guy said, well, you know what they say about you? Nothing. Nobody ducking cares. So there was two girls fighting, and one of them looks at my sister who was minding her own busyness and says, you go to hell too. My sister, do you want me to say anything to your mom? English class in middle school. Kid A, yo. Kid B, your mama waited on me at McDonald's last night. Must feel like shit having a mom that works at McDonald's. Kid B, at least my mom gets out of bed to go to work. English teacher far louder than he realized, damn. Apostrophe. The rest of us were laughing so hard. The teacher next door popped her head in to see what was going on. Context: John Oliver from HBO interviews Stephen Hawking, may he rest in peace. Joe, and there may be a universe where I'm more intelligent than you? There may even be a universe where you are funny. Overheard by me, the school bus driver. One 5th grade student was belittling a 1st grader. When it was time for a comeback, 1st grader shouts out, congratulations. Apostrophe. The bewildered 5th grader had nothing to say and went to sit down with her friends in the back of the bus. Joe Pine interviewing Frank Zappa. Joe, I guess your long hair makes you a woman. Apostrophe. FZ, I guess your wooden leg makes you a table. Apostrophe. Many years ago, when we were about 18, a friend of mine was arguing with another person we knew. This person was trying to be a badass and intimidate my buddy. He says me feet are registered. Without missing a beat, my friend replies swear, health and sanitation. 40 years later I still crack up at this when it comes to mind. A guy makes fun of his bald friend by rubbing his head and saying, wow, your head is as smooth as my wife's bottom. The friend also rubs his head and says, wow, you're right. Apostrophe. I asked my mother why she always wears makeup despite being in her 40s. She told me she wears makeup so she doesn't look like me. Edit, I was 9. Savage. Ruthless. Someone yelled out in a Walmart, I'm not ashamed of who I am. Another voice echoed back, that's your parents' job. I used to work with this like 70-year-old woman. She was a supervisor. And one day one of the ladies who worked with us told this old lady to kiss my ass, and the old lady replied, where do I start? You're so fat your crack goes all the way up your back. During WW1, Switzerland had a tiny standing army, but they were very skilled marksmen. Wilhelm II of Germany asked what 250k Swiss troops would do if he decided to invade with 500k German troops. The Swiss said, shoot twice and go home. Apostrophe. David Letterman, I'm not as dumb as I look. Tina Fey, how could you be? If you weren't so stupid, what would you be? Asks the husband. The wife replies, without even skipping a beat, single. I was the one insulted, but not the one with the comeback. I was out with a co-worker and her friends, and my buddy and I were leaving a little too early for her sensibilities. She jokingly got up in my face and said, smell that? Smells like pussy. A guy playing at the pool table next to us stepped forward and said, I'm sorry, that must be me. I just ate. Apostrophe. It was amazing. Definitely a great comeback. but not to an insult. More to an annoyance. I was a camp counselor for a few years at a summer camp. One day my group took a hike to a large rock where we had lunch. My campers were between 8 and 10 years old. This one kid we'll call Jeff keeps poking another kid we'll call Matt in my group to look at this hole in the rock. It's so cool. It's like 6 inches deep and the other kid is clearly getting annoyed just trying to eat his lunch. He keeps shoving sticks into the hole and trying to get everybody to look at it. Finally Matt just puts down his sandwich, looks at Jeff, and goes, "I'll be 6 inches deep in your mom later if you don't shut up." Apostrophe. I was trying so hard to be stern with this kid for saying something so inappropriate, but I kept cracking up. It was just such a disproportionately ridiculous thing to say coming from a 9-year-old. My grandma got into a fight at the grocery store with a guy who told my 9-year-old brother to move the duck out of the way. They were going at it, and his final words were, "Suck my dick, bitch," she said across the store. If I could find it. Bitch. Edit, not Wamit. Even better oldie. Grammar don't play. There's a story about Margaret Asquith, a British socialite and author, meeting Jean Harlow and correcting Harlow's mispronunciation of her first name. No, the T is silent, as in Harlow. Chelsea Handler told Russell Brand, "The way you are looking at me makes me want to cover my vagina." He replied, "Mom, if I had a rubber glove, I'd do it for you." Crowd burst into laughter and she even acknowledged that was good. My grandparents used to bicker. My grandmother generally came out on top, as she was fierier. One time though, she was asking him to do a bunch of stuff, and he muttered, "If you'd lose some weight, you could do it yourself." Apostrophe. She fixed her gaze on him and glowered, "I'm thinking of getting rid of about 200 pounds of useless fat immediately." Apostrophe. He replied, "You're going to cut off your foot." Apostrophe. Man. Nobody bickers like old married couples bicker. They've had decades to perfect their craft. Quiet guy in my art class got called queerbait. He replied with, "If in the bait then you're the catch of the day." On a construction site one afternoon, different trades were working in the same area. Like silly team sports. The Sparkers always hang with the Sparkers and the Turd Wranglers always hang with the Turd Wranglers, and anytime they're together it turns into a pointless dick measuring contest, usually not literally. One particularly childish exchange saw two men chopping back and forth, "My dick biggest. Blah blah blah." Finally one of them spits out this classic, "I've got girth like a can of con." And the clap back was unforgettable. "But you've got length like a can of tuna." Everyone busted up. Mr. Girth tried to hide his embarrassment, but was tied up. No comeback. And a room of men laughing uncontrollably. Good times. Saw a clip of a stand-up comedian the other day, and he says something along the lines of, "The first time I had sex it was terrible. The first time I had sex." And a woman chimes in with, "You mean yesterday?" Crowd laughs for a while. And while the comedian is waiting for them to calm down, you can see the gears turn in his head. Once it gets down to basically a few chuckles, he just says, "Glad you remember," and the crowd just lost their shit. It was amazing. A friend of mine was getting bitched at by these two identical twin girls in a class I had once. He replied with a troubling look on his face and said, "If you two are identical, how come only one of you are hot?" Apostrophe. That dude played the long game as those two girls looked rather perplexed for the rest of the session. Fixed. Glenn McGrath, Aussie cricketer, got frustrated with Ed O'Brands as his every attempt to stump Brands failed. This is what happened next. McGrath, "Why are you so fat?" Apostrophe. Brands, "Because every time I duck your wife, she gives me a biscuit." Apostrophe. On an Indian roast show, there were two bald twin brothers and the roaster told them, "You two confuse me on a biological level. You two look like testicles, but you are both assholes. I'm still waiting for an opportunity to use that." I was bullshitting with a couple of buddies, and may have suggested that I banged one of their moms. To which said friend replied, "My mom's dead." My mouth bypassed my brain and replied, "That explains the dirt." You sure do talk a lot for never saying anything. Apostrophe. This happened about 5 years ago now. There was this one annoying kid in my math class in high school. Being loud. Ignoring the teacher. He was mixed race. Only bringing this up because it's related. He's talking rather loudly with the guy next to him. Teacher tells him shut the hell up. Kid makes a point that he's half black and being mean to him is racist. Some stupid shit like that. Teacher looks him dead in the eyes and says I was talking to your white half. Stupid. Hands down my favorite teacher. Me, we should learn from our mistakes. My friend, so that's why you have a younger sister? Dude bragging, I got a big dick. Apostrophe. Friend, what happened? Someone break one off in your ass? Apostrophe. My grandma asked my cousin, who'd had lots of partners and 2 kids at this point, if she was ever going to get married. Cousin, it's not the same nowadays. We don't buy cars without test driving them first. Grandma, yeah. But they don't let you put 100,000 miles on them either. Point goes to granny. I have a bunch, but one of the more memorable ones was back in 8th grade. For context, I didn't make the basketball team 7th grade, but I made the team in 8th grade. This kid that was on the team the previous year but didn't make it currently was really upset and telling me how bad I am and blah blah blah. I told him that if he is better than me then why didn't he make the team? And he replied with it's just cause of my grades bro. So I replied with oh, so you're just ducking stupid then. He gave up cause it was either accept that he was bad or accept he was an idiot. So I was 14 or 15 and had a quiet nerdy friend with really bad acne. My older brother had these 3 friends, all brothers 2, 3, and 4 years older than me and my friend. They were all gangster and started their own gang, which I always thought was really funny. Me and my friend walked in the front door. My brother and his friends were all sitting at the TV playing Halo. One of the brothers looked at my friend and said holy shit Sam. I got 2 words for you ACNEE pad. Sam replied cool. And I got 2 words for you Johnny speech therapy. The guy had a pretty bad stutter. He jumped right up and started trying to fight my friend. As long as I could remember after that he wanted to fight Sam. But we just ignored them. I don't know why this stuck with me for so long. It was such perfect delivery and shutdown of a bully. Edit, unrelated but another funny story about these 3 brothers. They were walking through my backyard after playing basketball. Mid-afternoon. I hear Johnny screaming oh duck roo 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 rah run and the oldest brother who was about 5 feet 1 comes running up my driveway wearing his oversized Jane shorts and Jordan jersey. He was trying to get away from a bat that had bitten him several times in the face and head. He wound up getting 16 or some high number of shots in his stomach because the bat probably had rabies. Odd bunch of guys who tried way too hard to live the G life, but weren't any good at it. Son, dad you don't know how to make a joke. Dad, I made you. Son, you methodica. Dad, yes. I can't remember the best one I've heard, but I can remember the best comeback I ever did. It is also, in fact, the only good comeback I ever did. I was in 7th grade, and we were in the locker room after gym. People were discussing shoe sizes because this one kid had enormous feet. I don't know if I have small feet, but mine were the smallest. They said, small feet, you know what that means. I didn't mind too much, but one kid crossed the line. He said, don't worry, fella, there's like 10 different ways to make it bigger. So I said, have you tried all 10? Apostrophe. Not very impressive, but it shut him up. In class someone used the F slur on someone, and he replied with I'm probably as straight as the pole your mom dances on. Yeah, I know those people who tell you to be yourself. Don't listen to them. Has come up with more creative insults, but this is the most memorable. That's what she said, but she didn't say it to you. You know that biceps come in men's sizes, right? Oh, I think you come in enough men as it is. I went to Catholic school and the teacher said there's a special place in hell for people like you, and I said back see you there. 1. Back in the day, being openly gay could be downright dangerous. But George didn't really gaff. Someone called him a queen and he responded, I'll have you know, my mother is still alive, which makes me a princess. 2. Once worked W a Karen who was actually named Karen. In addition to being a BTCH on wheels, she was also next level morbidly obese. One day, I was on the phone with one of our clients who, in the course of the conversation, complained about her to me. I took the complaint to our team lead, She said, yeah, I get a lot of complaints about her, but she says the clients don't like her because she's heavy. Before I could stop myself, I shot back with, but Joe, if I were blind I'd still think she's a B. TCH. In middle school a boy asked when I was going to grow some boobs. So I asked him when he was donating his. I'm still really proud of that one. Edit. I didn't expect this to blow up, but I remember this clearly. He was walking out of English, I was walking in. We met at the doorway and were chest to chest, and he looks me in the eye and says, grow some tits. Without missing a beat I replied dead-faced, donate yours. Then proceed to proudly walk to my desk with a big smile. Also I did eventually grow some boobs. They are small, but they are nice. The greatest comeback I witnessed was when Kumail Nanjiani was on mean tweets and someone asked, is your dick multiple colors? And he said yes, every shade of your mom's lipstick. An older guy I used to work with was overweight, like, had big old belly that hung out past his belt. This skinny punk always made fun of him, even touched his belly and would say comments like, when are you expecting, etc. Finally he had enough one day. The skinny guy said, damn your belly is so big. The old guy replied, it's because your wife likes sucking dick in the shade. I have a twin brother. I'm older. He once told me when I came out, they knew it was a mistake and immediately tried again. I told him he was the buy one get one of equal or lesser value free. There was a fight after that one. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit universe.